Hello there, my name's Lee, I work for Micro Scooters, and today I'm going to show you how to replace and adjust the bearings that form part of the headset on your scooter. What we need to do first is we need to take the handlebar stem off. So you've got two bolts on this clamp here. We're just going to loosen those off. You will have been given a 5mm Allen key with the scooter. It's nice and loose. You should be able to twist it, and then it just comes off pretty straightforward. Now what we need to do is, for this you're going to need two spanners, and they're called headset spanners, and they're widely available from bike shops. This is a pretty standard, and these are 36mm, and that's a pretty standard size for headsets. One, we need to hold on the inside, and two, this top nut is a locking nut, so we just need to pull them against each other, undoing the top one, and that undoes. So this is just a lock nut. And this other one is actually the one that puts the tension on the bearings. Slide the stem out of the front set. As you can see there, we've got the stem here, and on this bottom part here is where the bearing sits, so make sure that's nice and clean. And then we've got like a dust washer here that sits over the top, but we just put that to one side. And inside here we've got one set of bearings. Front, we've got another set of bearings. Now when you order a new set of bearings, you're going to get the two bearings, the dust washer, and the top race, and the locking clamp as well. Just make sure inside is nice and clean. Give it a wipe out with a cloth, and just put some light bearing grease on there for when we're refitting. So for refitting, it's just the reverse of what we've actually done. So we're going to put the bottom bearing in first, and there's a right way up and there's a wrong way up. As you can see, that there's the ball bearings are exposed on one side and they're enclosed on the other side. We need to put, for the bottom one, we need to put the ball bearings so that the open side is sitting on the race inside there, and for the top one exactly the same, so the ball bearings are actually sitting on the race at the top. Now for refitting, it's easier to put the dust washer onto the stem so it sits down, and all we're going to do is we're just going to gently push that right the way back through there, making sure that the dust washer sits in place, and we're just going to gently hold it together and put the big larger washer, the one that's got the race on the inside, and we're just going to gently screw it down. And that surface then is going to come in contact with the bearing. And what we need to do is we're just going to tighten it up a little bit, just to take a little bit of the slack out, and you'll be able to feel that. But what we will do is once it's all together, we will adjust it properly. So that's enough to be putting it back together with, and the locking nut. We'll just spin that down. That's it, we're not going to do anything with that until we put it back together again. Going to put the handlebar stem back on. Now with the stem, you just have to make sure that it's nice and square. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we do that. With regards to setting it up square, this bracket here needs to be central to the gap that's in the stem, and that means we're going to get a nice even pull and tension across this stem when it's nice and tight. So if we make sure that the wheel's in its front position, the handlebars are upright, and that clamp is over this gap in the stem, then we can slowly start doing it up. And there is a bit of a technique with these, because we want even tension across the clamp. So we can pull it up a little bit, and then we can adjust it just to make sure it's still in the right position. Handlebars nice and straight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top, a little bit on the bottom, a little bit on the top, until we've got a nice even tension across that. We're going to make one more check to make sure that's central. And what we do here in the workshop is we try and put as much tension and torque on these nuts as we can. So what we're going to do is we're going to push that down, and we're just going to bit on top, bit on the bottom, and it just ensures that we get a nice even tension across the clamp, so we don't have any misalignment with the handlebars. Right, so that is the clamp done. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to adjust up the bearing, the headset bearing. Just make sure that that's nice and free, that's nice and smooth, which it is. We're just going to make sure that that bottom one on that nut is just nice and, yeah, that's good. So then what we need to do is we hold the bottom one, and with our other spanner we just hold that in place and just lock that against it. Doesn't need a lot to lock it, and that just locks where we've set the first one. So there we go. We've got our scooter with the headset tensioned and the clamp done up nice and tight.